evening, all. Welcome back to Smash the Labs. Right, I mean, this is... I'm loving this map. I know I'm showing it a little bit too much as well, so please don't hate me. It's just because we get some incredibly good matches with this one. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just, I think it's because it kind of inspires people to fight. I mean, I've always liked Domination for that single premise that people have to fight. But it would be nice if we saw a bit more maps like this. It's odd. I mean, if you look at all the maps for Domination, in fact, let's talk about the game modes, because Domination is a good example of where, in theory, it should be the best battles you have, because you have to kind of all focus on one point. So you have to kind of channel and get to one point. But what commonly has happened now with this style of game mode is this. You see here, people don't really kind of go for the point. They're setting up little bases and stuff above on high points that only dropships can get to. And that's kind of dull. I think maybe what they should look at again is maybe the ability to get to any particular point on the map at all. With, I mean, again, I personally put jetpacks in myself, but that's just me. It works well in Planetside, that I do know, but I would love to see more kind of, I guess, stuff that means you could get up on high without having to rely on a dropship coming in, because it's quite a clumsy way to get upon high is a dropship. Having said that, though, I mean, just I love this map because look at that. I hope he's liked his nice forge gun. Boom, nice forge gun, bro. Gone. And let's see if we can get him. Boom. No, okay, we missed him. Let's try shotgunning him. Boom, boom. Oh, I do hate the shotgun. I'm so bad with it. There we go. So prototype down. Simple as that. I mean, again, this has got to be one of the beauties of the game in that, you know, you still can do so much damage with cheap stuff. He says, realizing he's just running two dudes spawning. But there we go. So I know that little nest of spawn pads is there. So guess what we're going to do now? We're going to go and kill it. And I think this has got to be, I don't know, the fun part of this game particularly. Now, again, this map, I think, is just a great example of the level design capability. But it's funny because Domination, I think, and I think just generally the way the maps are being created has meant that so many of the maps are so well known, no one's really trying anymore. They just think, oh, it's the lab, right? Run to the supply depot, drop spawn pads, spawn in heavies, then just lodge them up, and then remote explosive them. And when they try and do it to us, it's so formulaic. It's kind of scary, actually. Here we go. He's going to drop. In fact, that's not going to kill him, is it? I hate the fact that the... if you drop a remote explosive above the ground, it won't have any downward explosion. That's stupid. Fix it. CCP, fix it. God damn it. There we go. He's having to shoot it. There we go. Now, again, in terms of, I think, certainly the way these maps go is that they're just so formulaic now that people kind of just know what to do. Now, here's a concept for you. Imagine if you had this whole level here and the domination point moved. So you would control it for, say, 5 minutes, then it would move. And then you had to move your gang to the new domination point. That'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? It would create some quite interesting battles. I doubt it's possible. I doubt they'd even consider doing it. But hey, I can dream. I can dream. And I think this is certainly why, you know, I think sometimes, you know, ambush is certainly, I think, the default mode for me now. Because it's just, I don't know, it's simple. There's no base building. There's no kind of, I guess, nest building, if that's the right way to call it. People just go for the kill. And I kind of like that. I respect that, let's say. Because when you have this kind of situation where all people are doing is just dropping tons of equipment for explosive, you know, for rewards and points and things like that, it's kind of stupid, really, isn't it? Oh, am I going to hack this? No, probably not going to bother. What's the point? What's the point? I think certainly when you look at a lot of the dominations, like, I mean, Line Harvest is a good one. That's the one with the 6 tall towers all around it. That's quite a clever map, that one. But again, very formulaic on Domination. Very, very boring. You just know that you have the tabletop and the pipes. And that's it. And, you know, if you want, you can be a clever bastard and go and get the tall towers. But again, you know, what's the point? What's the point? Seriously, I just think a lot of the maps are pretty boring like that. I think a dynamic moving point would be quite cool. I would love to see something like that. I suspect we will never see it, but there we go. Look at that headshot, mofo, headshot. You panic. That's right, you panic. And there we go, hack. I love this map for the fact that you can just do such ebb and flow gameplay, but I think what commonly I find is that, the reality is that this game mode is becoming very, very stoic and formulaic. Skirmish is actually a little bit more fun at the moment because you don't have the ability just to defend one point. You have to migrate, and that's quite cool. I do like that. But I don't know. I mean, here's an idea for you. Do you remember Unreal Tournament that had the ability to attack and defend? That'd be a nice idea as well. So you have 2 rounds. First round is one team attacks, the other defends, and then you have a timer for how long they defended for, and then that is the measure of the second attack as you switch the teams around. Simple design, simple stuff, but again, effective. It's more interesting. Having to go through certain stage gates. The missions, I guess they were called, where you had to kind of go and break a wall, then go and rush, and the defenders had to move with the attackers. It was good. It was very, very well done. I think that was Unreal Tournament. Post in the comments if I've got that right. But I remember, yeah, it was. I just remember it being incredibly well done. Unreal Tournament is a really underrated game. So many people have kind of talked about its crapness or its greatness, but they don't realize how much it did change the genre. I mean, significantly changed the genre of shooters, and rightfully so, because it was just such an interesting, different way of doing things, to be honest with you. I mean, all of the, do you remember the capture the flags? Well, they were cool, but do you remember the domination ones they had? They had speedball as a style of game mode. It was really bizarre, really, really odd, and I think they did such a great job. Unreal Tournament 4 was even better, but that game had so many bugs in it I couldn't even play it. My PC was so crap. I don't know, maybe not, but I just couldn't get it to work beyond a particular point. I was loving it up until I got to the walkers. You've no idea what I'm talking about. They had these tripod style walker machines that you could get into, and then it kind of went downhill a bit. But again, they had missions. They had really good kind of fun missions, and it was really fun. And I thought, that's exactly what the game needs, and I think it's what Dust needed rather. I think Legion hopefully will have this, because I don't know. You get kind of to the point where you think, look at all that map on that level. Look at all the all of the stuff there, and we're just fighting in about 20 square meters. I mean, that's pretty boring. It would be good if you had mini objectives. Planetside 2 does this very well. When you look at taking a base in Planetside 2, is not just about putting one point and hacking it. It's about putting bodies on a point, so you actually don't hack. You have to have numbers there. But secondly, you also have the satellite sites as well. So defense towers, artillery towers, access towers, and many other things, not towers. It's a really good designed base assault game that I think CCP would learn lots from if they haven't played it already. I'm sure they have. But to me, that's kind of, that's got so many good ideas that I would love to see in Legion. I'd love to see in other games, just generally, because they really have thought about what it means to attack a base. So you had to take the reactors down through an infantry assault to get the vehicles in. Simple stuff, but it's actually quite clever and innovative. And I think that's what Legion needs. Is it, I don't want it to be just another run-of-the-mill shooter unfortunately, Planetside 2 is. The shooting element of Planetside 2 is bollocks. It's awful. It doesn't feel anywhere near as good as Dust at all. And Dust has a solidness to it that I think, Planetside 2 would kill for. But it's because the netcode's simple, I guess, because they've got to get hundreds and hundreds of players onto the same map and it not to die an instant death. So literally, the way you fight in Planetside 2 feels like you're firing a BB gun all the time. It's just plastic and shit. It really is. Whereas in this game, heavy machine guns feel like they're packing a punch. Forge guns feel like as they're winding up, they're quietly winding up with the words "fuck you" as they fire. And that's the kind of gun you want to fire, a gun that whispers "fuck you" as you fire it, surely. And I think this is kind of my issue with it, I guess. And I think certainly Planetside 2 is a great example of good ideas, but poorly executed. And I think this is where Legion could stomp it into the ground quite categorically if they get it right. And again, linking it to the EVE universe means, Planetside 2, the biggest frustration I had with it was this is a planet in some empire, an empire spanning the stars, and I can't get off this goddamn planet, and it pissed me off, that did. So Eve is going to have such benefit and privilege of focus because it's going to have this huge empire built around it and a universe built around it that you can just go and piss about in. That's nice. There has to be something in there that gives you the feeling that you're getting away from annoying gits. And I think so few games have had this. I mean, you know, Battlefield 4 is a great example of this, where you're just constantly fighting kind of the same dudes on the same map all the time. And Titanfall even had this. I mean, again, my beloved Titanfall, which I thought was a brilliant, brilliant game, but I don't even want to log it. I actually uninstalled it. That's how, I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a brilliant game, but I just don't want to play it. Not bothered, you know. It's like, yeah, I kind of done that. It needed much more. It needed, I don't know, just something that made it feel less completely pointless. And again, that's a shame. That's unfortunate, but I just think sometimes, you know, games are not the easiest thing to get right because they're like films. You never know what's going to happen until you release it. But I think there's certain formulas that they just, you know, if you get it wrong, you're kind of screwed. Planetary Annihilation is a good example here. Again, great pedigree, but it was such a kind of 2D game in its beta, and it's just been changed completely because it's got a single player mode. So you can actually go and run a campaign now. People like campaigns, you know, even if like the multiplayer desire is to create the ultimate sandbox deathmatch. Well, you know, okay, good on you, but not everybody wants to do that. Some people actually want to go and have a conveyed shooter and get the fuck away from other players. Just saying, bro. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.